Welcome back to the podcast. This is a new thing, but it's a good thing. I don't know, there's a new energy.
I feel like people want that raw energy, that unfiltered Sinbad, the OG days. And this is how we're accessing that power.
You know what? Last night, actually, I've really been getting back into NoFap hardcore.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to me. Like for a minute there, I just like stopped caring about it. I think, you know what it was? Last year, we started making such good money.
Yeah.
Like as of maybe July of last year.
Yep.
We crossed over into like on average 20,000 a month, and we never started making less than that.
Yeah.
I was like, why do I need to be on NoFap? Like I'm already kind of, to me, those numbers at the time were like killing it because it was such a big jump.
Yep.
But these days,
and I think about a salient point there is like you were off of NoFap during a lot of that.
Yeah.
And you were still making a lot of money. So you're like,
yeah, I managed to basically over the time that Thomas and I started working together, the channel's gross revenue went from $2,000 a month to we've had one $40,000 a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as a result of working together and also just always working very hard, very consistently we're coming up on 2 years working together. We've been grinding, and I hadn't been on NoFap for a lot of that.
Yep.
And the money was just going up and up, and my work ethic was still there. A lot of parts of my life were not well balanced, but the work ethic was always there.
Yeah.
And I just started to think of it as childish. And you know what else is kind of annoying about NoFap is when I got into it and when I started talking about it, it was out of genuine passion.
Yeah.
But it has just become so commercialized. It used to be so underground and like the thing to try. It also just instinctively as a man, I mean, we're obsessed with our dicks.
Yes.
But instinctively as a man, I feel like you get this hunch like this will probably do something, right? Because I love coming.
Yes. Yeah.
and if I stop, that's probably going to show up somehow in the world.
Yeah. I think there's definitely like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just so driven by this urge.
Yeah.
And you're like, what if I fuck with this?
Yeah. What if I experiment with the urge that motivates me to get out of bed on some level?
Yes.
So that's how it was at the time, like maybe like 8 years ago even. But especially in the last few years, it's almost like NoFap is like saturated. It's such a, it's a talking point to get your channel started, your shitty little channel going. Is like, oh, let's just talk about NoFap. And this is the point I was originally trying to get at. I was like last night, in order to motivate myself, I've been watching some NoFap videos. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't I just watch my old videos? Because, shit, dude, I'm actually better spoken than a lot of these idiots.
Yes, 100%.
Talk about NoFap.
Yeah.
And I had researched and like spoken so adequately, like back in 2018, about everything, every angle that you could approach this. I hit all of those.
Yep.
Before I actually kind of started making more mainstream subjects. Like I'm only on day 9 today.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I am actually going to get back to 90 days and beyond. But it makes me think, and this is the point that we kind of want to get to with today's podcast, is like, is there a weakness that has kicked in to men today because like everything's luxurious? Of course, a little while ago, there was this like infographic meme that was circulating. I'm sure a lot of the viewers have seen it, where it's like hard times create weak men. Hard times create strong men. Bad times create strong men.
Yeah, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times.
I said that in the most
stupid
way possible, and you just cleaned that up for me.
You're welcome, it's why I'm here.
I was going to say possible.
Well, now I have to insert a bleep. Wow, that's great. A lot of extra work for me, but it's cool. Move right on.
What it do, what it does, where you been, where you was, what it ain't, what it is. Face in the mud, I really be hating in the mud. Said I can't pick it up, but I did. Y'all know Goon put too much bass in the sub. Cup full of blood and I gave it a chug. Wait till your neighbors get all snug, then play this real loud where you live.
Luckily, the sponsor for today's video is Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers.
Yeah.
And I don't think they give a fuck, dude.
Well, good. Okay. I won't take it out if that's what you want.
I don't know. Maybe we should cut that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Today's podcast episode is sponsored by Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers. Magnesium is a mineral that a large percentage of the population is deficient in. It's kind of hard to get naturally. Like, how do you get magnesium naturally? It's in like pumpkin seeds and stuff.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's in like sparkling water, but that shit's expensive.
And now, I'm obsessed with keeping my testosterone levels as high as possible. Some of these minerals, these micronutrients, are really important to get in. Another reason why you should be taking magnesium is because it does help you sleep better. Maybe sleep is one of the best things you can do to guard against like artificially dropping your testosterone levels in the short time. I think a lot of studies have shown that you can't really raise your testosterone levels unless you like insert it super physiological.
Yes.
I like the company Bioptimizers just as a company to work with because so many brands are freaking annoying to partner with. And they have always been so creator friendly.
They've never censored us.
They've never censored us. They're also like in good graces with Brandon Carter.
Correct. Yeah, one of the guys is Brandon Carter's coach, I believe.
And Brandon Carter is like an OG YouTuber.
Idol. God.
But Thomas and I both adore him.
Yes.
Magnesium Breakthrough has 7 different kinds of magnesium in it to really maximize absorption.
It's the best of the best materials, guys.
So if you think magnesium is a mineral you might be deficient in, or honestly, if it's just hard to get in, and you want to optimize your sleep, feel more calm, perform better in the gym, as a result.
I find it helps me with like if I'm getting like restless leg syndrome in the night and I take magnesium, I find it cools that shit right off. So.
Exactly. So, I mean, I only take a handful of supplements now, but Magnesium Breakthrough is one I definitely take. Use the link in the description below and the code SINBAD10 to save 10% on your order of Magnesium Breakthrough. So, thank you Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers for sponsoring this video. Let's get on with today's episode.
Yeah.
So, focus in. Subject for today's podcast episode is, have modern times created weaker men? Yeah, I actually kind of struggle with this question because my personal times, kind of going back to the first point, having me rewatch my old NoFap videos, I saw such a, well, it wasn't a struggle phase, but when I was making those videos, I was in the bedroom at my parents' house and I could only record videos at like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Just due to the conditions of that house. And I would have to commute maybe an hour and a half every day to go to work to make $20 an hour, you know, all of these things. And times now are like better than they've ever been, you know, in a way. I guess 4 years ago, I would have never imagined that I'd be making the money I am today. Even though I'm not even one of the like the rich YouTuber guys, like the guys who like flex their Lambos and stuff. I'm much richer than I ever thought I would be at that time.
Yep.
And I feel like I right now am the strongest version of myself so far. I don't think I've ever been as strong as I am now. And maybe a mere year ago, I was kind of in a similar position than I am now. Maybe I have even more privilege now than I did a year ago.
I think so. I think a year ago you weren't quite used to the amount of money you're currently making, even though, you know, maybe it hasn't like skyrocketed because you had your day job as well. But I think now you move differently for sure. Yeah,
but I feel like I'm also stronger than I've ever been, even though the times are better than they've ever been.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes down to a personal ethic a little bit.
I think so. Let's
break down all the reasons why it's so easy to be weak today for men or for women.
Yeah.
Why it's so easy to be like quote unquote weak. Like, okay, so it's easier to get distracted more than ever.
Yeah.
Even things that like required courage in the past, like asking someone out. I mean, the last time I tried cold approaching, asking someone out, it's probably 6 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine doing that today. And it's like, yeah, just the dating apps, the distance that we have between like actually having to interact with other people. I mean, the pandemic really kind of heightened that. But you just, in our day and age, you have this ability to really interface with nobody. And I think people's social skills, like you notice, they have just plummeted, you know? And man, I just feel like the amount of people that I've come across where I'm just almost so shocked at their lack of ability in a social situation to like do the bare minimum of like standing up for yourself or like doing what needs to be done or confronting someone. Nobody wants to confront people anymore, you know? I feel like that's because we're so able to like hide behind our phones or our screens. Back in the day, if you wanted to ask a girl out, you'd have to like go up and do it and do the thing. If you wanted to get a job, you'd have to like go in for the interview. You'd have to put yourself on the line in the moment, in the flesh. And now there's such an ability that you never have to be in the flesh anymore. Everyone's like an avatar. And even the fucking Zoom meetings, like I just remember we have been in a meeting together. I'll say that this was like a long time ago, you know?
Yeah.
And I just remember like all these kind of very corporate people, and I was like amazed at their just like, I almost was like, you guys would never get away with this if we were person to person. Just the lack of enthusiasm and like their placid faces. Nobody cares because it's over a screen. It's like they were just going through them. They were active. I feel like that they were at like a 10% power level. Like they were just automatons, and they were like, guys, we're so passionate.
Yeah,
and,
they were like, we're really excited about this project.
Super.
And to be
It's going to be
collaborating with you on it.
great. And I was just like, are you kidding? Are you guys dead?
Are you guys okay?
Yeah. I was like, do we need to like electric shock therapy? Like, I don't understand. And it was just like that lack of passion. I was like, if somebody was in person, like nobody would ever talk to you, you know? If somebody did that to you and probably be like, what is this?
Well, yeah. Well, dude, corporate America is its own special kind of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this brings me to the idea that the average guy today, and this is something that some of my contemporaries have brought up. The average guy today is just so below their potential, so below average. The average guy, you know, this is something that Chris from First Man would have said.
Yeah.
The average guy is a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I just 100% believe that because it's just too easy. The game has been made too easy. Like in the US anyway, you can get a $40,000 job, which is not high, or it's not, well, it's fine. It is what it is. But you can get it in like corporate America doing just like mindless data entry. I'm sure now you could get it from home. Yeah, it's like a lot of people still do work really hard in this country. I don't want to knock that.
Yes.
But like it is possible. You definitely notice this with like some level of like white collar level job. You're like a middling white collar employee.
Yep.
You're like at home on Zoom meetings, just being so unproductive.
Yeah.
Making okay, maybe not even 40,000 is low. You could be making 60 or 70.
Yep.
But like in Minnesota, that's enough to just like, you could just choose to stay there. Like no one would fault you for staying at that level. Like I make 50 grand a year until I'm 40 or 50. Like
and I'm
at 20,
just fine.
At 25, that's like, oh, that's pretty good, solid money.
Yeah. When you first get it.
Yeah, when you first get it, like you're like, oh, 50 grand.
I feel
like,
comfortable. I'm not worried about my
yeah,
bills.
it's not like you've got like you get your apartment, you've got a couple of bills.
Yeah.
You probably don't have a wife.
Things
and
are
kids.
covered, and I can get a 6-pack of beer at the end of the night, and I'm fine.
And
I
you're
don't worry
fine.
about money.
And you know what? That brings me to the point. You can totally just get some chips. You can drink beer. You can play video games. You already worked that day, right? You worked.
Yeah.
It's not like you're a bum. You worked.
I just want to go home and I want to play video games and I want to
have
drink
a
my
couple
beer.
of beers. What? It's just a couple of beers.
Yeah, it's
Why
nothing.
Not? It's nothing. And then if I get lonely, I can just go on some dating app.
Yeah.
And swipe around as a guy for a good while.
Yes.
But eventually, basically, without any courage, you will get a date.
Yep.
And you can go on a date and just satisfy that part of you that needs human connection. You can just quiet that voice a little bit.
Yep.
It's more depressing than ever if you think about it that way.
It is, man. And I just know that like, I mean, I imagine you've seen this too, but I know that guys that in high school that I sort of saw as like my equals and, you know, rated higher than a 3 out of 10. Like they worked pretty hard. They were in shape. They were fit in high school. I look at a lot of them now and it's like, man, they had, you know, drinking those beers every night. It works when you're in college, but man, I've seen a lot of them get fat and just lazy. And I'm like, oh, so you guys are just happy with your jobs. Okay, cool. Like you could stay right there. And it's like, man, it's not that like men start off just worse than they were.
Yeah.
It's like they get worse. They fall off, you know? And it literally, if you just stay the course, you're doing fantastic and better than most men.
And like I personally, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing because I still have gratitude for everything that's good financially or otherwise that's happened for me. But like I'm happy. I'm not happy. Correct. I'm happy. I'm not happy.
I know what you mean.
Yes, I'm happy. Like what we're doing every day is so cool. It's it's the best job in the world for us.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
I'm not satisfied.
I'm not
is
satisfied.
the way I like to phrase it.
Yeah, I'm not satisfied. Yeah, but I'm also just not even happy sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. I think my natural disposition is not one of just
honestly,
happiness.
my natural disposition is just to be angry. Like,
but I think like the happiness to me is like one of those emotions where it's just like life is just chaotic, and you're gonna experience happiness when cool things happen, and you're gonna experience sadness. But I I like satisfied because it's not like there's no emotional attachment to that. It's like not in that realm. I'm always hungry. And I think like you were telling me that because of the newfound success that you had felt some of that hunger slip away, right?
Dude, I thought my hunger was slipping away.
Yeah.
But that's because I was doing what we're talking about here, where I was just getting distracted by some of these things out there.
Yeah.
Now that I'm like, I've been sober for 35 days.
Yep.
And even with this NoFap streak kind of climbing back up, I'm like coming back to my former self while still
retaining the newfound intelligence,
newfound intelligence, newfound privilege, financial well-being, and I'm still not satisfied. Like the hunger comes back. It's one of the great things about NoFap. I don't know if it works. I don't really know what I believe on it,
but it works for you.
It works for me because it keeps me more hungry than I could be without it.
Yeah.
And I like knowing that I'm still hungry, because feeling satisfied, it's hard to not become weak when times are good if you're just constantly carrying this feeling of satisfaction.
Well, I mean, imagine, eating 2,000 calories.
You got to sit down and just chill out.
You got to digest. You're not going to be hungry. That makes sense. And it's kind of like the lack of intensity, the lack of hunger is like a symptom of indulgence. And we've stated, it's like you have the ability to indulge so much. So you have to like exercise a high degree of self-control if you want to be hungry, if you want to be crazy. If you look at someone like yourself and think more from the viewer's perspective, like, I want to be that level of intense. How do I get there? It's like, pull back from a lot of the thing, I like quit playing video games when I was 18 because I knew I had a problem. And it was like, these things make you soft.
And, it's actually not ultimately the greater of the two sacrifices.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, it sounds like you're denying yourself. It sounds like, okay, I'm going like monk mode. Okay, if I'm not fapping, if I'm not looking at porn or anything like that, then, okay, here's all this really free, really cheap delirium. Oh, I just can't have that anymore?
Yes.
Oh, for what reason? With the food, no beer, like,
I can't get drunk.
Okay,
but it's not like you're rejecting pleasure entirely.
It feels good.
It does. And it feels, it feels good to be hungry. It feels good to just jump out of bed with an energy, a purpose that you've never felt that kind of vitality before,
Dude, I have so much energy these days. And honestly, I just don't, you're like, where else can I put it? I don't know where to put it. I show up, like, my strength coach, he's just telling me, like, slow down, but I'm like, I have too much energy, bro.
Yes. Yeah, you're just like,
I'm like, tell me what to do with these hands.
Exactly, man. I mean, and it's like, once you remove things like that you're giving your energy to, like video games, like going out a lot, like the reason you're satisfied is because you're sinking you have the energy to do these things.
So much energy. If you're a guy in his 20s, 30s, or if you're well maintained, I don't see why you wouldn't have it even 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Like, you have so much freaking energy. It's like how Brandon Carter has said this, is like, if you live in America and you're broke as a man, that's...
You fucked up.
Yeah, you messed up.
Yeah.
We won't say certain words anymore.
We've already let one off, it's cool. But that's a great podcast with Brandon Carter on it, so you can watch him say it. But how did you find that hunger came back naturally just from cutting out that bad lifestyle? Or was it something else? Or like reintroducing NoFap and all these things?
For me, it all got triggered by the gym because I wanted to keep making progress in the gym. And I knew that was a super underdeveloped part of my life. I was like, I should just be looking fit. Like, it's like part of my job to be a fit guy.
Yep.
I'm like a low tier influencer in like the space of personal development. I should look fit. If I don't look fit, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I have to start this journey. There's no excuses anymore. So that forced me to drink less and then ultimately stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were just, I guess, frustrations with just my dating life and the way I'd been interacting in my romantic world.
Yeah.
Which was very useful and motivating for NoFap.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't mean to get angry and hungry again. But I'm freaking sober and I haven't been busting.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the brain instantly, I'm like, why am I pumped on making 20 or 30 grand a month?
Yeah. The fuck?
Why? What the actual fuck?
Yeah, you just need to like, a lot of the times it's like putting life into that perspective where like I think a lot of people, when they get comfortable, it's like they look at their immediate surroundings and they're like, everybody around me has got like, 40K, 50K. So like, I'm doing well.
I'm doing real good.
Yeah. And then it's like, you just got to reframe the perspective. I went to a concert, this guy, JPEG Mafia, shout out best rapper. And, I went to his show and I just remember being in being in the general audience. I was like looking up at stage and I was like, fuck, this is like true greatness right here.
Yeah.
Why am I not on that fucking stage? Like, how do I get where all the people are looking at me? Like reframing that. It's like, I don't want to just be the guy in the fucking crowd, like looking at the awesome greatness. I want people to like know that I'm that, because I got that energy. He's just a human.
Dude, when you see that, even if you're not like, you are that yourself in that moment, when you see true greatness in art on display, it just makes you want to live.
Yes.
Like, it just makes you want to be like, oh, there's something out there.
Yeah.
That's just better than anything else. It's like me when I see an amazing movie. Mm-hmm. I had broken up with my girlfriend. It was one of our, we had a little on and off phase. Yep. When we called it off, I was like kind of bummed. Thomas and I, he's like, oh, let's hang out tonight. Yeah. We saw The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie. And I was like, oh, I freaking needed this movie tonight. I was like, Guy Ritchie, directing, writing.
Yes.
Being funny.
So good. Just a fantastic film.
The song and everything, the energy, the vivaciousness. Did I use that word right?
Yes, you did.
For life.
Yes.
I often just read words, but I have never said them out loud.
Well, you said it right when you said the vivaciousness.
Yeah. And then I said
for life. And you kind of fucked it up.
I messed it up. Thomas actually knows what words mean, where I just kind of hope I'm...
Yes. He just throws them in.
I throw them in there.
Yeah. It's cool. We're getting there. People know.
Yeah.
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 But I think that like you get that sort of... I think an important thing to stay hard, to stay not weak, to stay strong is tending to the fire. And that comes from both sides, right? It's like you will get the pains from whatever. Life is filled with pain, right? Mm-hmm. So like a breakup, that'll be like, God damn, this sucks. How do I improve my life? How do I get out of this slump? And then from the other side, you'll be like, greatness. You'll see other people in your area that are doing well and you're like, what are they doing? How do I get there? Mm-hmm. You'll see other strong men and it just makes you want to aspire to that level of strength. So I think honestly, a lot of staying strong is like really deliberately tending to that fire within you.
It's so easy for me to pull inspiration, motivation on any given day. It's like I still have to prove my parents wrong. Yeah. Like they're starting to believe in me. They're kind of confused. Yeah. But I mean, like I have to make $1 million a year or $10 million a year. And then my dad will be really confused. Yes. Then he'll be like, I did not see this coming at all. Yeah. You know, I thought you were a bum. I thought you can get in.
Well, your parents wanted you to be a doctor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to make 10 times what a doctor makes.
Yeah. We have to, I have to do that. Yeah. Every girl who's ever rejected me, like not found me attractive, just like on a base, she could be really sweet about it. She'd be like, I just don't see a connection there. I'm just like, thank you. I'm so full of hate.
Please, God, yes.
I'm like, I hope you keep following me on Instagram because witness what's about to happen.
Watch it. Yeah, I think about that a lot. When I moved out of my parents' house in New York and I moved to Florida, I had just like this girl ended things with me and it was like not great. Didn't make me feel great.
Before you moved to Florida, you ended something?
In New York. And then I was like immediately just like, wow, I need to get out of this state immediately and start my life. And it was just that motivation from like fucking embarrassing myself in a relationship, not even a relationship. It was like this girl, it was sort of like a long distance. We were talking and I was like, wow, I love you. And I told her that. And then she was like, we're just friends. And I was like, wow. I fucking fucked up hard and I just really embarrassed myself and I was like, wow, let me never let that happen again. And also you could watch me become just 10 times the man that I was in this situation and just way out of your league.
Any man you will ever get.
Correct.
I'll be 10 times that man.
Exactly.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's what we call Toxic masculinity.
Yes.
But I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah. Toxic masculinity, you know.
Hey,
Yeah.
the men that are, sometimes we get a little angry, man.
It's just how it goes. And it's like what drives me. I just remember for like 2 weeks being livid. And it just like, I was moving as the worst. And it just drove me through that. I was like, oh. And then I just suddenly looked up and I was in Florida and I wasn't that pissed off anymore. And I was like, okay, great. I did a thing. And then you just keep moving. But it's like, whatever you got to fucking do at that time. You know, I think if you do feel like you're a weak man,
Yeah.
really evaluate your life, look at it, and just be like, damn, I don't want to be such a pussy anymore. Like, I feel like that was like when a girl dumps you, you're like, fuck, that's the thing.
I mean,
It's
you
like,
have two choices. You can either say like, this was an accurate statement on me,
yeah,
or you can find a way to be like, oh, like I'm capable of being so much more than what she saw in me, you know?
Yes.
And whatever. It's sometimes it's petty.
yeah,
But that's the stuff. I mean, Jordan Peterson had said it just wonderfully. When a girl rejects you, it's like she's saying no to you at like a DNA level.
yeah,
That's how it feels as guys. That's why there's these memes of guys like when they get rejected, they like really will lash out at the girl, like you're not that hot anyway and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's really cringe.
Yes.
But the reason they go there is because it is extremely painful. I mean,
it hurts.
it's painful for both sexes
Yes.
to get rejected. But I think as a man, I'm inclined to think it's that there's this violent, like, but this is me, you know, like,
Yes.
like I
Yeah,
have
totally.
to, on some level you're saying my genes have to go on. Like you can't say no to my genes. Otherwise this existential crisis is going to be huge.
Yes. Yeah. I think that, like you said, it's like they're tapping into something primal.
Really primal.
Yeah.
And that rejection is so painful.
Yes. I mean, even like we've spoken about, it's like
Yeah.
just even getting ghosted by a chick on Tinder. Like you go on 2 or 3 dates and you're like, God, I barely know this chick. Why does this fucking sting?
I didn't even care that much.
Yeah.
But now that I've been ghosted, it's this is so painful.
I still think about him.
Oh,
I'm like,
it's
God
rough.
damn it. Why? I thought this was going well. And then honestly, like we've said, it's one of the best forms of motivation.
It is.
Next 3 workouts, you're like not even in pain. You're just like, oh,
Some guys don't realize that the way you're perceived in this moment isn't who you have to necessarily stay.
yeah.
Like you can be a lot of things. Maybe you can't be anything, but you can take it pretty far. You can push your genetics pretty far.
Yeah. So we both know, like, I mean, just knowing people in this world,
Yeah.
we've both come across weak men.
Yeah,
know?
I guess the main reason I would define some of these people are my good friends. You know?
Yeah,
But like
same here.
why I would say weak men is because they got satisfied too early. Like
Yeah.
I know for a fact you could have done a lot more.
Totally.
And I know for a fact that I don't think you're that happy. Like if you're where you're at and you're super, super happy,
Yes.
well played, fair on you.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're that happy either. It's like you just stopped too early, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's these habits of ours and these distractions that we allow that keep us stuck for too long, just keep us trapped in this purgatory of inaction. Mm-hmm. That's why just going back to good habits is so important. It's like that's the only safeguard against weakness, especially when times are good.
Yes.
Like
Just find out what your basics are and cover those.
cover the basics.
Like it seems so easy, but I just remember I was talking to a friend of mine who used to be, quite fit.
Yeah.
And he kind of just like dropped that he was like 220 pounds very casually. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like how, and it's like, these are people I haven't talked to in a couple of years, but I'm like, damn, bro, like you just spend 3 years not doing anything?
Yeah.
I don't understand. And it's like, I could take a week off working out, like whatever, you have your spotty moments, but it's like as long as you just, again, hold the line, just go through the motions, you don't let that happen to you. So I'm wondering, like, if there are points in your life that you were weak, or imagine I'm one of your weak friends
Yeah.
and I'm asking you for advice. How do I start to get to where you are? What would you say?
Dude, thank you for this question.
Yeah.
Dude, I was weak last year, man.
Yeah.
I was weak 9 months ago.
Yeah.
I had just forgotten that I could keep getting better.
I think weakness was creeping into your life.
It was creeping into my
Yeah.
life. But if I had to mark down 2021 on me on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
I would put myself at like a 3.
Okay.
Like I was at a 3 of what I was capable of compared to what I was
Of
capable
what you were capable of. Yeah. I'd give you that too.
Yeah.
Or I agree with your, whatever.
Oh, that's the direction I was in for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you still did pretty well. I think things grew, and I
we
think
did
made some
okay. I mean,
important
dude,
moves.
whatever. The channel made around 200K last year.
You went full time. There
I
were
went
big
full
things that
time.
happened.
But
think,
I cannot deny that I was like just at a 3.
Yeah.
I just truly feel that for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, we the video that I'm most proud of from last year is probably the dark truth about productivity YouTubers.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple bangers last year, but the one thing I would say is like, just like, I mean, I'm in this mode right now. Just unleash the primal energy with killer within you. I have a vision board now, and I just like, I've put up people who have wronged me, like their photos on my vision board now. Like I would never go in this direction before, but nothing on my, because I have had an affirmations list for a while.
Yeah.
But no slide on my affirmations list hits me harder than that page.
Damn.
And I don't want anything bad for anyone on that page.
No.
I want good things to happen to all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh, I love that I can be so energetic. Like energy is the best way to blast through weakness.
Correct.
If you have just tons of raw energy, like the anger that you and I feel, it's just like unrefined masculine energy, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't genuinely hate anyone. I genuinely don't genuinely want to harm anyone, but I like feel like,
well, it's just directing that energy in a healthy way is what's important.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And like, if you're weak, start by just building up that reserve of whatever. And you know, David Goggins has his cookie jar that he talks about where he just like pulls in back on. He says he uses toxic events in his life all the time.
Same.
To motivate himself.
The cookie jar metaphor is something I like a lot, but I think it's important to be like good men and bad men.
Yeah.
There's the raw energy that both of those men are tapping into is the same, right? And they're just utilized differently. But then there's a third category of men, which is men who don't utilize that energy. And that's where the weak men lie. So it's like, if you take the energy, you're going to run the risk of like doing good or bad things, and that's on you. But it's almost anything is better than just being impotent.
Yeah, nothing feels worse than being impotent.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you recognize that you're like, you can feel it as a guy when you're impotent. You're just like, why is it, you know, it's like bending reality to your will.
Yeah.
It's like,
and talk about something that, you know, in our positions now just makes us furious. It's like an inability to do something.
if I feel impotent for like 2 hours,
Yeah.
I'm so upset with myself.
Yes.
I have to like coach myself out of that. I'm like, what do I got to do right now to stop feeling this way?
Yes. It's like we've created our own like personal hells, and it's like, honestly, it's a good safeguard.
Yeah.
Like the fact that when we feel lazy, it's like the most demonic force.
I mean, maybe this is just me having a hammer and seeing every problem as a nail.
Yeah.
But if you feel weak, I would just say, don't drink and don't jerk off.
Yeah.
And you'll probably find yourself getting pretty pissed off.
Well, it's like take away these rushes of dopamine that stop you from analyzing yourself.
And honestly, if you're one of the guys, if you're like on dating apps and stuff, and if you think you're a weak guy, delete the dating app for a while.
Delete the dating apps and even get off social media. Like stop these inputs.
Yeah. Because they're designed by like true marketing geniuses.
They're designed to get you addicted.
Yeah.
And they're designed to just feed your addiction.
Yeah. I mean, one of the coolest things I did was just like not be on dating apps. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, every woman I've ever met in the last 5 years has been through a dating app, but like, I'm like, screw it. I'll find him.
Yeah. Well, it's like I have been seeing someone, so I'm like, but even for a month of like, I knew I wasn't going to go on dates, at least right now. I don't feel like it, you know, there's no need to, but I would find myself swiping on the dating apps. And like a week ago, I was like, what the fuck? I'm on the toilet. What am I doing? Just
literally
finish.
to pass the time.
Yeah. And so I just deleted them all, and I was like, oh, I was just fucking addicted. Like I knew even when I would get matches, I'd be like, well, I just delete this. I'm not going on a date.
Yeah.
And so it's like you just are compelled. So I think,
I mean, the brain just says, look, new woman. It's just like,
it's yeah. But again, going back to, I guess, if I'm the weak guy, what are you telling me?
yeah. Dude, I would start with the energy. So I said the thing about like no drinking and no jerking off. Do you think that would work across the board though, or is there other stuff? Because I'm actually at a loss for what to tell someone. Because I've never struggled to have a purpose. Like I've always known my purpose. So I mean, having a purpose and having the energy to pursue that purpose. That's all I need, to stop feeling weak.
I find a lot of people also like, once you tap into that raw energy, you're in a really good place. But I find a lot of people get tripped up on this, like, but I don't know what I want to do with all this energy. And it's like, all right, just do the first thing that comes to your mind. It doesn't matter, It's like, I don't know. I feel like I could have just as easily been in some other career path if it had just resonated with me even a little. Like, I feel like I was sort of meant to end up in film, but I don't think it matters that much because, like, you'll fucking find something that resonates with you in some way. If you're miserable, get out of your job. But it's like, just use that energy for something that sort of clicks with you. You don't have to be right about where you put the energy. It's just trying right things,
I mean, I don't know. People who say they don't know what their purpose is, I just find that so confusing. I'm like, there's money.
Yeah.
We'll start there.
Yeah.
There's money, there's fitness, and there's relationships. There's only 3 things in life.
Yeah. It's like,
Am I wrong? I don't know. Did I miss something?
No.
Maybe there's spirituality as a 4th, but
you're a young man.
Yeah, it escapes me for now. Let's just focus on the concrete right now.
Well, it's like get your life right. After that, like, get your family, get your relationships right.
Yeah.
Make sure your body stays right. Like, what else could there be?
That will keep you plenty busy.
And it's like, if you are providing for yourself and perhaps like providing for family members and, making family members proud of you by your grind, it's like, you'll find spiritual fulfillment, man. I don't think you'll feel fucked up over that.
Yeah. Spirituality, I don't think for the majority of us is about pulling away from the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I would put the same question to you. Like, I'm a weak friend, but I'm actually open-minded. I'm like, dude, I just feel, I don't know how I feel weak, but I feel weak. I feel impotent.
Yes.
What do I do?
Well, honestly, it's so annoying that we always have to come back to it, but it's like, I remember when I was 18 and I was really struggling, just getting into the gym for the first couple times was like huge. And that's what I tell all my friends now. I'm like, why don't you just start going to the gym? And then I would remember my friends like wouldn't go if I was not going. One particular friend would just never, he'd say, I don't like going to the gym. I only go like when you pick me up and take me. And I couldn't understand. I would be like, we always have a good time when we're here.
Yeah.
Just get yourself out the door. Like, I think everyone's so comfortable inside their fucking house. Get out of your fucking house. Leave the house. Or move out of your parents' house and make your living situation uncomfortable. Live on your own means and live in a shit place.
Yeah.
Like, have a shit situation. Make sure, like, when you're in your parents' house, like, I bet you're comfortable with your parents' house. Like, it's nice.
Yeah.
But, like, you're like, I don't want to fucking live at my parents' house. This is dog shit. It's, like, embarrassing. I don't want to be living at my fucking parents' house.
There was a stress in my life.
Yeah.
When I left my parents' house that, like, just woke me up.
If you feel weak, you should analyze the fuck out of your situation and be like, I'm embarrassed with myself.
Yeah, because the desperate are not
You
weak.
should feel fucking shame.
Yeah.
Tap into that.
Yeah.
Really.
I remember when I would come back from LA and like sleep at my parents' house just to visit them once every 3 months. I would sleep so hard in that bed at my parents' house, and I realized it's because I felt truly safe.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that safe in LA because I was just such a hungry little wolf, like just trying to survive.
Yep.
But that was necessary. I mean, for me to do.
You got to kill that safety.
I mean, they were just, like commercial shoots at 4:30 a.m. consistently. And then the day job as a teacher. There was a lot of stress. First thing I did when I moved to LA, like I drove out of the airport in there.
Yeah.
I just like found a motel and then I started crying because it's like the first time I left home. That was such an insane amount of stress.
Yes.
But I mean, definitely hunger.
I think the most important thing to do is like leave home, leave your parents in any capacity, like get roommates, do whatever you got to do, because being home, like you said, it like creates this false sense of security. And it's like you are tapping into, like, if you're around your parents a lot at that age when you're in your like early 20s, you are essentially tapping into a very childish energy.
It's hard not to be a kid around your parents.
Yeah, exactly. Until you like really sever that, and then you can come back and interface with them as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, that initial break is hard unless you legitimately take that physical space away, you know? And I think, like I was reading a lot about like tribal rituals, and like they would have these rituals where they'd literally like have the initiates like go with the mothers like away with them. Yeah. And then they would have this ritual where they come in and they kidnap the kid and they take him away just to like really embody this idea of like you're being ripped away from your mom. Like she's no longer your mom. Mm-hmm. You need to like see her as something else because you're out in the wild now, you know?
It just reminded me of like 300 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you say get out of the house.
Yeah. Get out of that sense of security somehow. Like if you're truly in a position where you can't move out.
You know, because for a lot of people, it makes sense to stay at home, especially if you're like building up a financial base and stuff. I just think it's like, I'm realizing now more than ever, energy is at the heart of so much. You know, just having profound energy, having raw energy.
Yes.
Desire is also just energy. You know?
Yes.
Or my dad said when he was trying to get out of the village and get into IIT Kanpur, it's like 1 in 20,000 applicants get into this engineering school. He's like, I'm like, you know, Dad, what motivated you at the time? He's like, well, I just thought that if I didn't get in, like I could genuinely see darkness starting to surround me.
That's good. Yeah.
I was like, oh, somehow I actually, on some level, even though I never had the desperation that my dad did, I feel that on like an artistic expression kind of level. I'm like, if I don't make this happen, then there's just this enormous existential abyss that I can like truly feel.
I can feel something just like encroaching my soul. It's why like if I don't have an idea or something that I'm working on, it's like I get, as the days go by, you just get more and more anxious, and you sometimes you can't even like pinpoint what's wrong until you've solved it, and you're like, oh, it was the fact that I wasn't doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
And just every day gets worse.
Dude, I have I just remembered this. I have a handful of Salesforce certifications. You know, for my day job, I had all these certs that I got.
Yeah.
And one of the maintenance exams was due, so like I have to periodically take. It's a 15-minute little mini quiz I have to take.
Yeah.
Maybe like once a year.
Uh huh.
And so one of the maintenance was, I was like, you know what? I studied so hard for that exam. Might as well just take the maintenance now, right? It'll take 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I got into it. I saw the questions, and it's almost like you can see everything laid out in front of you. So I can see the questions. I can go back and read the article and answer the question. Super easy.
Yeah.
I just have to like do the work for 20 minutes of like figuring out what the answers to this thing.
Yeah.
I answered one of them. I started looking for the next one, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I'm permanently fucked as an employee.
Yes.
Because I'm just an entrepreneur now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
Like, I will not be finishing this 20-minute thing because I'm like, burn the ships. Like, I have
That's
desire.
what I was going to say. Burn your bridges.
Yeah.
Like, torch everything that's behind you. I remember after dropping out of college, I almost, like, for like 3 semesters after, you can just go back. Like, then they'll just be like, oh, you were taking a little time off, but you could still get in without reapplying. And so I was like, for that year and a half, I was like, oh, man, I like, my parents would always be like, so when are you going back to school? Because I wasn't doing shit by then yet. And I just like couldn't wait for it to be like not available to me anymore. Because I was like, we're here. I wish there was a way that I could just like throw a match on it and leave it all behind. Because I wanted that like sense that I dropped myself in the ocean. Now we need to you got to swim or die. So I think it's like we've stated, I guess, to come back to the thesis.
Yeah,
it's like,
thesis.
How do you become strong? It's like force yourself to be. Like put yourself in the wild. Stop indulging. Stop staying safe. Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous. It also is like identify. Just know that the game was rigged against us in a way in modern times.
Yeah.
So don't trust some of these things, you know,
No.
like
what, for example?
like, you know, porn is bad for you.
Yes.
You know, stay away from it. Yeah. You know, like processed foods, like the diet that is the stuff that's easiest.
Yeah. The stuff that's right there, frozen foods, you know, shit that takes no time, no preparation. So you can just heat it up while you're playing video games. Embrace hard shit, man. Embrace tedium and embrace delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we said, it sounds like, oh man, but that all sounds shitty.
It's really fun.
It's fucking, like, take it from me, it's fucking way better than what I'm seeing, man. It rules.
I'm having so much more fun than when I was doing all these things. Like today I'm having so much fun compared to like the drinking and the going on these dumb dates.
Man, bro, being like 10th prestige on COD does not compare to like getting a video done and being like, damn, I like moved the needle today.
Yep.
You know? I don't care. Like so put down the Xbox controller, delete the apps, man.
That's been this episode of the podcast. Let us know in the comments if there's any subjects you'd want us to take on. Mm-hmm. This is something new, so we're still experimenting. We're still trying. But it's been a fun additional to the channel. We'll still have our regular uploads, some really amazing high effort videos, some cinematic efforts that are coming up in end of February and March and beyond. But like, it's sometimes just fun to have the unscripted chats where we just break it down and not everything is so polished up like a main CS edit.
Because the thing is, you know, we like have these conversations all the time, and it's like on a drive to go to a shoot, we'll just be like, why the fuck are like all our friends such pussies now? You know? And it's nice to give like get the fans in on this conversation, because I feel like it's a side of us they don't see. Yeah.
And it just I wanted to open up an opportunity to just be more real.
Yes.
Like, yeah, just to sometimes to just say it how it is rather than just package it perfectly inside like an 8 to 14 minute long video and all of that.
Yeah.
So hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what else you'd like to see.
Let us know what you think of the name.
Yeah, give us some suggestions for the name. Becoming the Killer.
Yeah.
Is it too aggressive? I don't know. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I don't know if we could hit it too aggressive. You know, I feel like we
Becoming
need to
the Killer podcast. Greatness is coming, as always.
Indeed.
We'll see you guys next time.